Hello everyone, it's Robert with SparkFun Electronics, and this is your AVC course preview video for 2012. So the first thing you might notice about this year that's a little bit different is this starting ramp. We're actually using a slightly different starting ramp this year that will be a lot easier for the smaller robots. Jesse, tape measure. Thank you. So if we look at this, it's actually this rubber cord cover stuff, and it's about 20 inches wide and only about a little under 2 inches tall. So for the small robots, you shouldn't have much of an issue getting over top of this time. So this is only a very small portion of what will eventually be the full finish line. It's actually going to extend all the way out there, and the whole thing's probably going to be about 30 feet long. So everyone should have plenty of room to space out their robots and start this year. So you're going to be in the pits, and like I said, we're going to have 5 robots at a time, and they're going to be spaced on this starting line. When it's your turn to go, the pit crew will tell you, you will move your robots out here, and we'll have a schedule posted for you. And I'm going to have some sort of gun or shotgun or something for, starting. And I'm going to fire that, and at that time, all the robots will go. So you've just left the starting ramp, and now we're going into turn 1. So there's nothing too special about turn 1, but we're doing a couple things different this year. Last year we had the bleachers over here, and it stopped, and we had some other stuff around here, and not so much around here. Well, we're going to mix things up a little bit this year. We're actually going to have the bleachers a little bit more this way, so in terms of crowd control, we're going to have a roped off area to where this whole section should be open just for the vehicles, and everyone should be behind these ropes, so when you go around this corner, you shouldn't have any obstructions going from here to over there. So that should help quite a bit at turn 1. Now the interesting thing about this year that's going to be a little different is the barrels will change position. So I would not rely on just recording the track and driving through. You need to do some sort of object avoidance to get out of the barrels. So let's take a look at what the barrels and the hoop look like. So here is one of the barrels, and to give relative scale, I'm about 8 feet tall, so it's a pretty good sized barrel. Actually, no, I'm not. I'm about 5'9", so this gives you an idea of how big the barrel is. I think most of you saw it last year. Now there will be 4 of these scattered throughout this section of the track. So as soon as you come along that first bend, you're going to have 4 of these. And like I said, these will be randomly placed. We may change them throughout the day, who knows. So if you're going to focus anything on your robot, you might want to focus on object avoidance. After you get past the barrels, you're going to go through the hoop. Now, the hoop is bonus. If you go through it, you get a time deduction. If you don't go through it, nothing happens. It's centered right in between the course. So if you've got really good GPS track and you go right through the middle, you get a bonus. Whoopee. It is metal this year. It should not fall over. So it's going to be a lot more sturdy, and as you can see, it's pretty much centered right on the track. Once you get past the deadly hoop, you will go along this very nice and very long and very straight path. However, there is one issue with this. Water. We've been told the electronics do not like water, and as you can see, there's really not that much of a curb down here to stop you. In years past, we have had several robots end up in the pond. And the pond is scummy and dirty, so you do not want to end up in there. So you're going to want to try and go as straight as possible. So let's cut around. There are a couple potholes and a couple of very minor obstacles right here, and we approach turn 2. So this is turn 2. After you've come down the straightaway, you've gotten rid of the barrels, you've gotten through the hoop, and here is the next turn. There's a little bit of a hump right here from where the sidewalk ends, but lots of wide open space and lots of space down this way as well. So let's continue down and see the next straightaway. So there's nothing too eventful down here. We've got a couple little small cracks here and there, but really nothing that bad. And just to remind everyone, none of the vehicles will be here, only your vehicles. So this will all be nice and clear and nice and open. So this is turn 3, Flower Grove, and you can see it's very similar to turn 2, almost identical, just mirrored. We've still got the little sidewalk over there, but we've got this. This might be a little problematic for some of you, so you might have to worry about this. You can run a little bit wide if you want, but as you can see over here, it is pretty wide open once you get around this turn. So we've just passed turn 3, which is now called Flower Junction, and we're going to go down the 3rd and final straightaway until we go into the home stretch. What's this up ahead? I think we're approaching Craterville. Population, your robot. We've got a couple small craters here up front, a couple bigger ones, this big one right here, another big one, and a lot of little small ones scattered around. So once again, if you're a small robot, you might have an issue with a lot of these. So you might want to come wide, or you might just want to put the pedal to the metal and just kind of blast through them. So now we're on the 4th and final turn before we go to the home stretch. This is similar to the other turns in the fact that it is a 90-degree turn. You can take it sweeping, you can take it straight, you can do whatever you want with it. This turn is nice because we actually have quite a bit of room around here. Without these cars and without anything here, you can make a nice wide sweeping turn into the finish. So here we go. This is the home stretch, and as I said before, the finish line will extend much further out. So you'll have a good 30 feet of finish line that will stretch along here. So you really don't have to hit it, that precisely. It's a pretty wide girth. Once you cross this, you are done. You win your prize. You win all the fame and glory. So that's pretty much how the ground competition is going to happen. And what we're going to do is, I'm not exactly sure how many heats we're going to have, but we'll have 5 robots going at a time, or 5 vehicles going at a time. We'll do 5 of those, then the next heat, then the next heat, then the next heat, and we'll go through all the vehicles, and then we switch over to the aerial competition. And then we'll do the aerial competition one at a time until all those go, and then we'll go back, and everyone gets 3 full times to run the course, aerial and ground. So cycle between ground, aerial, ground, aerial, ground, aerial, and then we're done. We give out prizes, everyone claps, and we all go home. Now, for the aerial section, it's going to be a little different. Aerial has a lot of different rules. Basically, how it's going to work is you need to take off behind this line. So this will extend 30 feet, and you'll need to actually have the plane take off behind this line. Now, it can be an automated takeoff, or it can be a manual takeoff, like if you just throw it in the air, if you use a slingshot or something like that. As long as it's in the air autonomously by this line, you can get a little bit creative. So once your plane, or whatever, is actually up in the air, then you get to go around the building. Now, we have 4 people, I think maybe 5, stationed up on the roof. There's going to be a person at every single corner of the roof, and they will be radioing back to me to let me know if you've either cleared the corner or clipped it. If you've clipped it, you're automatically disqualified. That run is gone, and that run is done. If you clear the first, clear the second, clear the third, and clear the fourth, you are good. However, you still have to land your plane. The thing about landing is you can either just land it yourself, or you can have it land autonomously. If you land it yourself, the plane does need to come and cross this finish line. So essentially what needs to happen is your vehicle needs to autonomously go around the building in completion. It can take off behind here, autonomously fly past here, circle the building, and autonomously cross here. Beyond that, it's up to you. Now, the time does start when you start the plane, either throwing it or launching it or whatever, and it actually stops when you land. So just crossing the finish line does not mean you're over. You have to physically land. Now, there are 2 options for landing. You can land autonomously, or you can land manually. If you land autonomously, you do get a time bonus. If you just crash the plane into the ground with your controls when the plane lands, that is your end time. You do not get a time bonus for that, though. The 3rd and final way that you can do this is to land autonomously in a specified area, and we call that the landing box. This year, the landing box is going to be the width of the starting line, which is 30 feet, and we're going to extend it another 30 feet that way. So you basically have a 30-foot by 30-foot space to land in. So you have to cross the finish line, of course, and if you land past here and 30 feet out from here and 30 feet, out this way, then you get a separate landing bonus for landing inside the box. Let's look at some final dimensions of the building. So from the start line to turn 1, it is a full 90 feet. And then we make a right-hand turn, and turn 1 to turn 2, that whole straightaway is 250 feet. Once you pass that second turn, you're on your way to the third, and you've got 180 feet to go. You pass that turn, and you're on 250 feet straightaway till the last turn, turn 4. Turn 4 is 90 feet to the finish line. The actual scoring is going to be a little bit different this year. In years past, we have just made do with a stopwatch, and last year we had 5 different judges in addition to myself, and each judge followed the robot around with a stopwatch and recorded each individual time, and then we recorded that. However, there are some problems with human error and stopwatches and a lot of other things. We're going to revamp it a lot this year, and we're actually going to use a video system. So what we're going to do is we're going to have a video camera pointed along the length of the start and finish line, and we're going to record that into a VCR. So we're just going to do like a extended time-lapse video recording of that. In addition, we're also going to have an Arduino with the max whatever on-screen video breakout, and when I hit the start button, it's actually going to start a timestamp on the video overlay that we will record on the VCR. So when I hit start, it's going to show all the robots crossing that line, and then they're going to circle the building, and when they come back, we'll actually have a video timestamp of exactly how long that took. So there you have it. This is the course preview for the AVC vehicle competition, that's for you, Dave, for 2012 in June. So hopefully that answers all your questions, and hopefully that gives you a really good idea of what the competition will be the day of. And for anyone that's looking to come and watch, please do so. It's going to be fantastic. And all those competing, good luck, and hopefully this helps out.